Stroud and the Texans will be heavy underdogs as they travel to face the dynasty that is Kansas City. But anything can happen in the playoffs. As we know, Stroud, one of the best young quarterbacks in the game. All right, RC, you're going to be there in Kansas City for this one. I can't wait for this weekend. We've got excellent games, but tell me this. If the Texans upset the Chiefs, would that be the biggest upset of the divisional round?
Absolutely. And no matter what would happen after that, I believe it would be the biggest upset of the entire playoffs. Even if they moved on to the next week and beat the Baltimore Ravens or the Buffalo Bills, it still wouldn't be as big as beating the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round. Patrick Mahomes is 6-0 in the divisional round. He's thrown 13 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. This is the team that won 15 games. And no matter how much we didn't talk about the Kansas City Chiefs or how much concern that we shared because they were winning these close one-score games, they were winning them. And all we've ever done is see Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and this defense of Steve Spagnuolo step up in the biggest moments. And now you have the Houston Texans coming to town with a banged-up Joe Mixon that sprained his ankle on Wednesday, a team that went there and lost a couple of weeks ago and really kind of imploded after Tank Dell went down, a team that can't pick up the pressure, the most free rushers in all of football against a blitzing and zone blitzing Steve Spagnuolo defense, which I think C.J. Stroud is 34th overall in the league when facing. This is a terrible matchup for the Houston Texans against a team that understands what it's like to be in this position.
Yeah, I semi-agree, semi-don't. Semi-agree because I'm going to make a point here, but it's not expected for a rookie to go into somewhere and win. That's why I say that it's not the biggest upset that could potentially happen. The Commanders going into Detroit, and for Jaden Daniels, if Jaden Daniels is able to pull that off, that will be a bigger story, all right? On one hand. On another hand, it's this. If the Texans go into Arrowhead and win, I think it crumbles everybody's expectations for the playoffs because this is what will happen. If the Texans win, now Lamar doesn't have to go through Arrowhead. If the Texans win, now Josh Allen doesn't get his lick back. If the Texans win, it's like, oh my God, now what? As a football fan, it's like it's expected for the winner of the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens to now host a Houston Texans team, and that's no fun. We all want to see it. So yes, I can agree, but it's not expected for a rookie to go into a number one seed and handle business. So that's my take.
You're wrong, Cam, but I respect where you're coming from. Listen.
Said it so quick.
The biggest upset would be the Texans against the Chiefs. I'm giving close to 0 chance of the Texans winning this game. I'm going to say it again. I know that. I'm not playing, but damn it, that's how I feel. And the reason I feel that way is because of the rest the Kansas City Chiefs have, the fact that Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey and those boys roll up in there healthy, the fact that the game is at Arrowhead Stadium, and the fact that Houston's offense has struggled somewhat. We can't deny that. There's no Stephon Diggs. There's no Tank Bell. You see them bereft of the weapons that we're accustomed to seeing them have. If both of them were there with Nico Collins, we're having a different discussion. Agreed. That is not what they have. And because they don't have it, I love my man Mixon as well, but you don't have enough horses to go to Kansas City and win this game. That's why this would be a colossal upset, because it's not just Houston and C.J. Stroud, a second-year player, knocking off Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, on their home turf. You would be doing it shorthanded. Nah, that's a big upset. It don't get bigger than that. You ain't supposed to win that game tomorrow, and I don't think they will.
And that's the big thing, the point you're making, Stephen A. Let's be honest, the Commanders are a better team this year than the Houston Texans are, right?
Yes.
And the Detroit Lions, though they did win 15 games, they don't have the pedigree that the Kansas City Chiefs have. We don't look at Jared Goff like we look at Patrick Mahomes. As much as we love Dan Campbell, he's not Andy Reid. They don't have that experience. They don't have that hardware. It would take the effort it would take from C.J. Stroud and also that defense to win this game would be something that we can't even explain going into it. That if we started, Cam, as much as you know about football and as much as we watch this game, if we tried to start dissecting the X's and O's in ways that the Houston Texans could win, it would be very little things that we could point to. It would be very hard to say that Nico Collins can win constantly against Trent McDuffie, but who's the number 2? That a banged-up Joe Mixon can run the football against the front of the Kansas City Chiefs, or that the man-to-man that DeMeco Ryans employs can get the football out of Patrick Mahomes' hands quickly enough, or make him hold it in the pocket so Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. can get there. It's so much that would have to happen. I feel like there are paths to victory for the Washington Commanders that there just aren't for the Houston Texans.
Now, I have the utmost respect for Patrick, my homeboy. But let's all be honest. This is not the same Kansas City Chiefs team that we've seen all year. So for that gives me more light to say, okay, but what if? It could happen. Now, what we're used to seeing from Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce, El Travador, it's not been on display like that. They've been winning games by merely as a team rather than the dominance of the Patrick Mahomes and the Travis Kelce offense. And that's why I say, hey, but true, that like these things are true. But these games that even they won this year, they could have been beat. We're not used to seeing Kansas City. We still can't. Okay. Well, I'm saying.
Okay. Go ahead, Cam. You got it, Cam.
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of what ifs that we could play. We could throw out all type of different things. It could be a rest versus rust, a rust versus rest situation. True, and true. But nobody on here can say that they feel confident. This ain't the best Kansas City Chiefs team over the last 2 years that they've won the Super Bowl.
This team is better. This team is better than last year's team. If you remember, last year's team limped into the playoffs. Let's just take Christmas Day. Yeah, let's just take Christmas Day. Last year, Christmas Day, the lasting memory is Jack Jones running into the end zone on a pick six of Patrick Mahomes staring him in his eyes. Antonio Pierce crying after the game because that's the game that got him the head coaching job in Las Vegas. This year was different. This year was Patrick Mahomes absolutely destroying the Pittsburgh Steelers on their field. Last year, we knew that they'd have to go on the road and beat not only Josh Allen, but then you'd have to go to Baltimore and beat the #1 defense and the MVP in Lamar Jackson. And they did that. This team is fine compared to that team. This team is hitting their stride compared to that team. And you can go and bet against the Kansas City Chiefs, but I will not. This is a team that is primed. They've been in one-score games all season, and they understand how to win at this time of year, Stephen A.
And not only that, Cam, they, like RC said, they're better than they were last year. Last year, they led the league in dropped passes, okay? This year, they're better, but most importantly, we're not talking about a fully loaded Houston Texans team. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a Houston Texans team that don't look as good as they looked last year as far as I'm concerned. I think they looked better last year with C.J. Stroud as a rookie than they have this year, and primarily due in part to the injuries that are articulated. In the end, first of all, you were considered the inferior team to begin with. Plus, you shorthanded. Plus, you going on the road. Nah. This would be a huge upset if they won this game.
Okay, let me clarify it this way, or let me put it this way. Patrick Mahomes is not even being mentioned in the MVP race. When has that happened? Patrick Mahomes is not even in the Pro Bowl contention. When has that happened? I guess that's what I'm saying more than anything, that this is not the same Patrick Mahomes team that we're used to. That's not to say
But I would throw it back at you. You. You the quarterback on the air with us. You tell me. You see who are they playing with. You see what injuries they've incurred this year. You see some hiccups that they've had. Are you telling me that you look at a Patrick Mahomes and you seeing a brother that's lost his skills? I don't see that.
Ooh.
You seeing that?
I don't see that.
No, I never said that. But I said they look more beatable.
I didn't say you said that. I'm asking.
I said the Kansas City Chiefs looks beatable more than they have in recent years. That's all I'm saying.
Right. But wait a minute. But respectfully, that ain't all you said. What you said was, let's keep it a buck. Patrick Mahomes don't look like he.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay của mình sẽ là video gì đây? Nhiều quá, không biết làm video gì đây. Rất nhiều những sản phẩm mình đã chuẩn bị để tô màu để gửi tặng tất cả các bạn đây. Đấy, những sản phẩm chắc các bạn rất chi là quen thuộc. Những đồ dùng, con vật đây. Và đồ dùng đi theo mình là hộp xăm màu của mình đây. Đây là những cây màu đầy màu sắc này, rất chi là tuyệt vời nha các bạn. Nếu các bạn thấy hay, hãy cho mình một like và đăng ký kênh nha.
Bây giờ mình sẽ tiếp tục tô màu nhé các bạn. Tô màu xong rồi.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay của mình sẽ là làm video gì đây? Nhiều quá, không biết làm video gì đây. Rất nhiều những sản phẩm mình đã chuẩn bị để tô màu để gửi tặng đến tất cả các bạn đây. Đấy, những sản phẩm chắc các bạn rất chi là quen thuộc, những đồ dùng con vật đây, và đồ dùng đi theo mình là hộp xăm màu của mình đây. Đây là những cây màu đầy màu sắc này, rất chi là tuyệt vời nha. Các bạn nếu các bạn thấy hay, hãy cho mình một like và đăng ký kênh nha.
Mình chỉ tiếp tục một nha bạn. Xong rồi.